Okay, we are live. Mic is on. Check, check, check. Here we are, Florida and Texas today. Welcome to the BigJReport.com college football scoreboard. Florida and Texas, nothing in the first quarter. The Florida Gator defense may have actually found itself early in this game. They got a couple of tackles for losses, back Texas up. Texas missed, I think, about a 51-yard field goal in the first quarter. But Texas is 7-1. Wow, Florida just deflected a pass as Texas has the ball back. Still no score early in the football game. 6.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Gators playing in Austin, Texas today. How about that? Welcome to our live stream on the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number, where are we at now? 61, right? We normally do 82 as in the number Jimmy Smith for the year, 89 with the number Mercedes Lewis. We'll see how many episodes we could jam pack into 2024. The Florida Gator defense has come to play, man. They're all over the field. The Texas quarterback did take off on that one. He might have got close to a first down, but might be short. Looks like it's fourth down. Still no score in the game. Texas missed a 51-yard field goal relatively badly. But Florida had backed him up with a couple of a sack and a tackle for a loss, couple of tackles for a loss in the last drive. Gator defense has kind of found itself. Florida's still going with the third straight quarterback. The guy from Yale that I found out a few moments ago is actually, I believe he's originally from Florida. I got to find his name. Well, we'll pull out his name here in a minute, but we know Lagway's out with a hamstring injury. My goodness, Texas went for it on fourth down and almost didn't get it, but I think they got it. I think that was a fourth and short. I think they ran it right up the middle for the first down. But give the Gator defense credit. Napier, as most of you know, not everybody knows this, but Napier has been kind of given a vote of confidence by the brass or the powers that be at UF. The statement came out this week that he will return in 2025. And I kind of understand it. I mean, Napier has brought his team to play as I feel like they've been prepared very well in the last 4 games. Texas end around play. The guy's going for long yardage over the midfield stripe and way down in the Gator territory around the 32-yard line, but we're still nothing. But Napier got the reprieve. I think that some of the fan base wanted. Napier obviously wanted because he'll get a 4th year. He's got a 7-year contract, I believe it is. But we're live on a stream with the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Georgia Tech playing Miami 7-7. That's kind of my upset special today. Miami's a huge favorite, but I'm taking Georgia Tech in that one. I'll have to pull out the football pool and take a look at it, dissect it, but I know I did pick Georgia Tech in an upset. Maybe not to win, but at least get under the points that Miami's favored by. Florida and Texas. I think Texas is like a 21 or 21 and a half point favorite. I took Florida the points. Jack Pyburn, number 44, edge guy for Florida in on, I believe, the last tackle. We're still, what are we in? Still in the first quarter with about 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. No score. But Texas is moving it into Florida territory now, and they throw a long pass up in the air. They've got a man out there, and Texas is going to score the first points of the game. Number 2 caught it for Texas, about 4 yards deep in the end zone. He was absolutely wide open. Texas taking a 6-0 lead. Now, these points could come fast and furious. When you've got Florida in 21 or 21 and a half points, you look up on the scoreboard, and all of a sudden Texas could be covering. Billy Napier will be back. That is, what's the guy's name? Evers is the quarterback for Texas. Arch Manning is on the bench. They got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, no doubt. Texas scores a touchdown, and now they kick the extra point. They're up 6-0. Now they're up 7-0. First quarter. Jaguars got Minnesota. That means Cam Robinson comes back to Jacksonville after being traded to the Vikings. Is it a fire sale by Balky? Have you ever got a fortune cookie that And this happened to be one time. I was really shocked. I used to really, I didn't really take a lot of credence in fortunes and fortune cookies, but I like to rate them. And sometimes you'll open it up and it kind of, you feel like it kind of applies to you or someone you know. I opened up a fortune cookie here a few months ago. There was absolutely, the cookie was there, but there was no fortune in the cookie. Maybe that's a bad fortune cookie, huh? A team that you follow is having a fire sale. What if that showed up in the fortune cookie? I I've seen Cam Robinson traded. Roy Robertson Harris was traded to Seattle a few weeks back. I think that was while the Jags were in London or getting ready to go to London, and now they've traded Cam Robinson as of a week or two ago. He's with the Vikings now. Jaguars also having more, injury problems across the offensive line. All of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence has a sore left shoulder. He has a sore left shoulder. When did that injury occur? Maybe it's a cumulative effect. Will he have to have maybe even a surgery on the shoulder? Is it that bad? Who will play Sunday? I don't think Trevor is 100% ruled out, but I think probably it's 80 or 90% that he won't play. And what is up with that? Tell me your opinion of Trevor Lawrence, the injury, and what is going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We know they're 2-7. Things are not good. Things are absolutely not good with our Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-7. They'll play Minnesota. Minnesota's favorite. I think I'm gonna have to take a look at the poll. I got to find the poll to see everybody that I picked at the time the poll came out on Wednesday or Thursday. But I did get the Thursday night game right. Cincinnati's playing Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by a handful of points. Cincinnati did lose the game, but only lost by 1 point. So, thus, I won with Cincinnati against the spread, even though Baltimore won the game 35-34. This is the BigJReport.com college football scoreboard. Texas 7 and the Florida Gators nothing. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're back with you now. I got to post the 7 points on Facebook that Texas just got. Texas leading. Florida Gator defense has kind of found themselves. They've gotten a lot more competitive, man. They're not going to hold them. They're not going to hold them out all day long. Texas has got Evers at quarterback. I think that's how you pronounce the guy's name. They got Arch Manning waiting in the wings. They're probably thinking, hey, we can win this game by 2 or 3 touchdowns, get Arch Manning some work. That's got to be what's going on through the minds of Texas, the Texas Longhorns, the coaching staff, and probably even the players. Florida's 4-4, and I believe Texas is 7-1. And there's some highlights on our monitor here. We're taking a look at the game. This is Austin, Texas, is where the game is being played, and Texas is kicking off. Texas is kicking off to Florida right now. Ball goes into the end zone, so Florida is going to get the ball. The touchback rules in college football and the NFL, I have to keep up with them because these rules are changing. Let's see where the kick comes back. Is it the 25-yard line in college ball? We'll take a look. Florida's huddling on the sidelines. Looks like Napier's talking to the team near the sidelines, and now they're coming out. Number 16 is the quarterback for Florida. Florida's got only 16 yards of offense. Texas with 128 yards of offense in this game. Boston College and Syracuse, no score in the first quarter. Florida's got the ball 25-yard line. Now, in the NFL, they get it on the 30 now. These rules, man, you got to keep up with the rules. The quarterback, the third-string quarterback for Florida, throwing it up in the air, he overthrows the receiver and the defender. Let me look this guy up. Florida Gators, because, I heard the guy's name once or twice, and I should know. Florida Gators quarterback now, let's see. Lagway's hurt. He's on the sidelines. Where's number 2? But he's on the sidelines. He's not playing any ball today. Graham Mertz got hurt a few weeks back. So now you got another quarterback in there for Florida. It looks like DJ Lagway, there was kind of a game time decision where maybe he could have played today, but he's not playing. The Texas game's an interesting game. I never thought Florida would win the game, but it looks like they're being competitive in the game. So you take a look at the fact that, Florida State's had a terrible year at 1-8. Florida's 4-4. Florida's got some big games coming up. Texas, they got LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, 4 big games left in the regular season. If they can win a couple of them, they can perhaps get to a bowl game. Legal procedure on Florida. Georgia plays Ole Miss. Georgia is ranked 3rd. Ole Miss is 16th. They're a big 3. That's a big 3:30 kickoff. Offensive players out for Florida. Lagway's out. Mertz is out. Montrell Johnson's out. Trayon Webb. A couple of wide receivers out. Wilson and Badger are both out. Khalil Jackson out. Man, Florida's got a lot of players out in this game. This guy's a redshirt freshman quarterback, I believe. The guy that Florida got from Yale, who I believe he's originally from Florida, he hands the ball off. Ball is on the turf and fumbled. Looks like Texas has grabbed it. And somebody with the Gators, the guy's running back toward the Gator end zone, but somebody grabbed him and knocked him down around the 8-yard line. So Florida in trouble. Still first quarter, about 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. What can Napier do? I mean, he's playing a third-string quarterback, number 16. The handoff was good. The running back, though, got hit, got in some traffic, dropped the football. And Florida's playing without a lot of players, and we're live. Nate, I will tell you this, that our subscribers are starting to pick up. We started YouTube at the ground, the bottom, below the basement, and at the ground floor. So we're new to YouTube. We've been podcasting for a long time, for about 5 years. And, of course, I did terrestrial radio prior to that for well over 20 years or more. So we welcome you into the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We've been into this stream for about 12 minutes. Come in, say hello, make some comments. Will the Jags beat Minnesota at home? Doesn't look like Trevor Lawrence is going to play. It looks like Mac Jones, the hometown kid from Jacksonville, is finally going to get his opportunity on Sunday to start and play a game for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence hurt his left shoulder. Texas leading this one. Texas is 7-1. Florida's 4-4. Texas with a 7-0 lead. And they got the ball again deep in Gator territory, but they moved them back. Let me see. They're back on the 22 of Florida now. Going to be first down and 10. Akers throwing the ball up, incomplete. Threw it about a half a yard from the outstretched hands of Wisner, number 26, a guy running a route for the Texas Longhorns. Georgia Tech 7, Miami 10. That game's in the first quarter. Miami of Florida Hurricanes 10, Georgia Tech 7. I think Miami might be due to, take one on the chin. They're 9-0. Yellow Jackets, man, they're nobody to mess with. They're 5-4. They're on, I believe, the Georgia Tech's now on a 2-game losing streak, though. Texas got the ball. They throw it, looks like, to the tight end across the middle, and they're going to score a touchdown. Tight end caught it at around, the 7 or 8 yard line and just, kept moving inside the 5 and then scores. That was Gunnar Helm, who caught the 22-yard touchdown pass from the quarterback Evers. With Texas mascot going crazy. And I'm looking at the highlight. Texas now leads 13-0. He just threw a quick one. He faked it to the running back, just backed up, short drop, and just threw it over the middle. It was kind of really a halfway fake to the running back. Not a very good fake, but the tight end was wide open. Texas is going to kick the extra point. Looks like it's good, kind of in the right flank or right quarter of the end zone, or goal post, I should say. And Napier kind of meeting all his guys on the special teams that come out, and Florida's down 14-0. All year long, we kind of expected this to be a tough thing when Florida went to Texas, but we really didn't know that Florida would be without their first-string quarterback, their second-string quarterback. Jesse Palmer, former Florida Gator quarterback. Man, we could use him in the lineup today. He's doing the TV for ABC, as I understand it. But this kid, man, he's off to a slow start. Um, he's playing. Kid, he probably never thought he'd play at ERs here, unless it was routes or something. But and this is a tough thing, but he's going to get a chance to play a little bit more, take some more plays on the chin. Probably Texas, a tough place to play in Austin. Texas with a 14-0 lead, 3 minutes, 11 seconds to play in the first quarter. And we're with you for a live stream when we go off. The extra point was good. Texas leads 14-0 now. And Graham Mertz is injured. Lagway is injured. I think Lagway may come back quicker than we think, but not this week. Still nursing the hamstring injury, and Bob returns the kickoff, but not for very much yardage. Miami's playing Georgia Tech. Miami has scored a touchdown and a long touchdown pass, and Miami leads Georgia Tech 10-7. Miami 9-0. Georgia Tech 5-4. That game is actually, I believe, in Atlanta. Ball's in the backfield. He did not get a good kickoff return. It looks like the Gators are around their own 16-yard line. Gators got one back in the backfield. They did have a flanker swing back around like he was coming back for a possible handoff, but they run it ahead for a yard or two with Ball. Baugh. Baugh has shown, I think he's a freshman, and he's shown some really great potential for Florida. Georgia at Ole Miss today, kickoff 3:30. Alabama plays at LSU. That's critical. LSU 6-2, Alabama 6-2 at 7:30 p.m. The Georgia Ole Miss game at 3:30 is absolutely huge in the conference in the SEC as well. Florida's made a decision. They are going to keep Coach Napier going into 2025. Florida gets a first down on kind of a sweep play to the left. Was that Baugh? I believe that was Baugh, number 13. That is Baugh, number 13. Getting used to the numbers. What's that kid's name playing quarterback for Florida? Warner? Is that right? I'm looking at the back of his jersey. I've not really studied him much other than he's the transfer from Yale, from the Ivy League. And with NIL, it's kind of hard in the immediate transfer portal. It's hard to have a third-string guy on the bench that's going to be that great. Your first two guys go down, and who do you have left? A guy that can be capable of coming in and playing, but not a star, not a guy that's going to give you a lot of pep. And, Texas has a good quarterback situation with Evers and Arch Manning, but who's their third-string guy? If both of those went down, then it gets dicey, gets difficult. Texas with a 14-0 lead late in the first quarter, about a minute, 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Number 16, the transfer from Yale, still out there. We'll try to get his name. I think it's Warner, I believe, right? Not Kurt Warner. Steady diet of running. It looks like Baugh runs for about a yard and a half. And that may have been a third down play. That may have been a third down play for Florida also. Third down and 8 coming up now for Florida. Florida's 4-4 on the year. Texas 7-1. Texas in command and in control late in the first quarter. Texas Longhorns 14. The Florida Gators nothing. Austin, Texas, big crowd. This is a tough win for this guy's first start ever. And the quarterback, number 16, is going to throw it. It's complete, but short of a first down. I guess he hit kind of a tight end out there for maybe a 3-yard gain, but Warner's the guy's name. I see his jersey, number 16. Warner's the last name. We'll find out a little bit more about the guy, too. We're kind of learning about him as we go along. Warner. At least we got the last name now. And Florida's got a lot of players out. Third-string quarterback Aiden Warner. That's a kid's name. Third-string quarterback Aiden Warner thrusted into starting this game. He came in and played after Lagway got hurt in the Georgia game. I believe Lagway got hurt, late in the second quarter. And so, basically this guy played almost the entire second half, basically played the second half between Florida and Georgia. The game was tied, I think, between Georgia and Florida, 2020 early in the fourth quarter, but then Georgia pulled away and won last week, 34-20. So at least we know the kid's name is Aiden Warner. We appreciate you guys being with us. Please subscribe to the channel. If you can come in and subscribe to the channel, man, we are grateful, extremely grateful. Welcome to our channel. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show today, number 61. I found out today I've been a little bit behind on some of the concerts, but we put them up at bigjreport.com in the Neighbors 2 section. Found out the country legend group Alabama. They're just a legend in country music. The group Alabama, longtime country group, going way back to the 1970s and 80s, still touring. They've even had, I know they've had at least one or two members, I believe, that have passed away. Alabama in concert, actually today on Saturday, November the 9th of 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at the St. Augustine, Florida Amphitheater. We're going to talk more Iceman hockey as the season moves in. It's early in the season in the East Coast Hockey League. The Orlando Solar Bears play at the Jacksonville Iceman. Looks like it's a Thursday matinee, November the 14th of 2024 at 10:30 a.m. So that's some North Florida entertainment. This game has not been really entertaining. The best thing about this game was when Florida stopped Texas earlier in the first quarter and got a couple of tackles for losses and backed Texas up where they had to kick a 51-yard field goal, which they missed to the right. But since then, Texas has scored a couple of touchdowns, and they lead the Florida Gators. Texas 14, Florida Gators nothing. We told you North Florida Entertainment, Alabama, the legendary country group, is going to be in St. Augustine at the Amphitheater tonight, November the 9th, Saturday night, November the 9th at 7:30 p.m. in St. Augustine. We had somebody pop in. Please subscribe to the channel. We're really glad you're here. We'll be taking a look at college football, the bigjreport.com college football scoreboard, Texas 14, Florida nothing. The first quarter, I believe, has just come to an end. So second quarter coming up. Georgia Tech is playing Miami, and this is a huge one. And last I heard, Miami had a 10-7 lead over Georgia Tech. And they're late in the first quarter with that one. Miami just scored a long touchdown on a pass to take the lead. And you got to remember, Miami's 9-0. Florida played them way back in the first game of the season. Georgia Tech is 5-4. Tech started out 5-2, but they've lost a couple of games in a row. Georgia Tech now 5-4. And last I heard, Miami of Florida 10, Georgia Tech 7 late in the first quarter. If you got comments, hey, shoot us a comment. Subscribe to the channel. We're starting way at the bottom with YouTube. We're brand new on YouTube. Our podcast has been going for about 5 years on the audio platforms. You can find us at bigjreport.com, bigjreport.com. We're absolutely brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. The MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Mad Max has a Wednesday night show. My goodness, I just saw a punt where the Gator guy could have had it inside the 5, and then like the ball hit him in the knee and went into the end zone. What a break for Texas. Man, Quinn Ewers is that guy that's already got Texas a couple of touchdowns in the first quarter. Texas leading Florida 14-0. He had a little injury a couple weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back. Arch Manning played, I believe, for a couple of weeks. So they've got two pretty good quarterbacks on the team. When you talk about Arch Manning, and Ewers is the starter for the Texas Longhorns. Alabama plays LSU tonight at 7:30. And I believe Alabama's like a 2.5-point favorite in that game. And we took Alabama. We took Alabama in that one. No mistaking that. We're taking Alabama over LSU. Florida's on defense, and at least we got a penalty marker down. At least Florida stopped that run for only about a yard gain. And finally, Texas back in their own territory. Texas getting called for holding. Coffee boy dropped me off a little bit of coffee today. Man, it's pretty good. Pretty good there, coffee boy. Texas 14, Florida nothing. Now the game has entered the second quarter. Some other games coming up. Utah State versus 21st ranked Washington State. I didn't know Washington State was ranked 21st. They're in the Pac-2 or whatever's left of the Pac-12, which they're going to get some new teams. It's going to, in a sense, have Washington State and Oregon State, and it's probably some mid-major level teams, and it's a conference that's going to be. It's not going to be as big as good as the ACC. Obviously, certainly not as good as the SEC or the Big Ten, but the Pac-2, which may become by next year the Pac-6, 7, or 8, or 9. We'll keep an eye on that. Texas Longhorns 14, Florida Gators nothing. Second quarter. Please subscribe to the channel. Your comments are welcome. What do you think about college football this year? Indiana's been a big surprise team. Texas quarterback Ewers back to pass those it out of bounds. And Florida's got them backed up with a penalty, and now like a third down and 20 coming up. Orlando Solar Bears playing at the Jacksonville Icemen in a matinee on Thursday morning. I believe it's Thursday morning, November the 14th of 2024, 10:30 a.m. at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. The legendary country group Alabama in concert tonight, Saturday night, November the 9th of 2024 at 7:30 p.m. That's actually at the St. Augustine, Florida Amphitheater. It's not in Jacksonville. It's just, 20 minutes away in St. Augustine. Texas throwing a little screen pass out on a third down and very, very long, and Texas might have got 3 or 4 yards on the play. That means Texas will have to punt. Now, can Florida get back into this game some way? They got to score. They've got Aiden, what's the guy's name? Aiden Warner, third-string quarterback from Florida that's playing the transfer from Yale. I finally kind of learned his name. Again, subscribe to our channel. We've had some new people subscribing to the channel. We're starting at the bottom with YouTube. We really are. I mean, we've been podcasting, for well over 5 years. We're in terrestrial radio for, over 20 years or more prior to that. And now we're on YouTube. And we're still doing the audio platforms. And you can always find us. You can always find us at bigjreport.com, bigjreport.com. Into the first quarter, the Miami, Florida Hurricanes lead Georgia Tech 10-7. As we're talking to you here on the bigjreport.com. College football scoreboard, talking Florida Gator football. Billy Napier's going to be back next year. And the reason why is, I'm going to say there's some reasons. One of the reasons is he's got a 7-year contract, and next year will be year number 4. But he has had the team prepared the last 4 games. I think that's what mainly saved his job. Plus, the recruits know Billy's going to be around for another year, so it's going to help with recruiting at this juncture. When you think about Coach Billy Napier, he's got to find a new hotshot offensive coordinator. I think it's probably going to be part of the reason why he's been extended. He's going to have to find a new offensive mind. Well, the Florida quarterback just completed a pass. Aiden Warner completes a pass. Florida's got the ball. He threw it out to number 17 there. And you guys, we appreciate you tuning in. I see you guys popping in and out. Please leave us a comment. If you like the podcast, come on. Give us a thumbs up. You like the way I'm doing that? A thumbs up? Give us a thumbs up. You can give us a thumbs down, too. We prefer a thumbs up. I can tell you that. Subscribe to the channel would make things really awesome. We appreciate that. Aiden Warner is the quarterback for Florida, and Florida's got the ball now deep in Texas territory. And Aiden's going to run the ball for a yard or two around the 13 or 14-yard line of Texas. Not much there. And if nothing else, man, Florida needs 3 points. They need to come up with some offense, even if it's just a field goal. Last week against Georgia, in the Florida-Georgia game, there was a third quarter field goal attempt in which the the guy it was a bad snap, and Florida lost 3 points. And the second half was a disaster. Florida still got it 20-20 early in the fourth quarter against Georgia. Okay, you got a Wildcat situation. Number 13 takes a snap as a wild card, as the Wildcat. I said wild card, in a Wildcat formation. That was Baugh. It was actually snapped to Baugh. Baugh took off for about 5 yards. And so Florida's going to have a 3rd down and 4 coming up. Yeah, Aiden Warner's still in there. You remember there was a Kurt Warner. That was a big surprise guy that started playing for I believe the St. Louis Rams, and he turned out to be quite a star and made it eventually to the Hall of Fame. The guy, Aiden Warner, I don't think he's any relation to Kurt Warner that I know of. But I will tell you, he's a freshman. He's transferred from Yale to Florida, and I believe he actually played his high school ball in Florida. So he probably likes, being back in the hometown state. Florida's got a timeout. Texas leading 14-0. Florida's got a big 3rd down and 4 coming up with about 10 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the second quarter. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell someone, tell everyone about our podcast, our live stream. We do live streams, but we also record podcasts and put them out there. Now, the live streams are interesting where when we finish, we say, hey, that's it for this time. We end the live stream, and then it's still up there for people to watch. Did I give you the score? Georgia Tech and Miami. Miami 10, Georgia Tech 7. That game now in the second quarter. That is a huge game for Miami. I think it's a huge game for Tech. Tech is a team you don't want to play with. I picked Tech in the football pool. I didn't pick them to win the game, but I picked them to actually get underneath the points that Miami's favored by. So we'll see what happens. I did the same thing with Florida. And it's backfired on me doing that too. Taking the underdog and getting the points. Sometimes it don't work out. It didn't work out last week. I see that. I see Chris came in. Brother Chris James came in. Chris, hope you're doing well. I know Chris has been under the weather. Chris put a note on here saying Gators playing without the starting quarterback. Actually, Chris, they're playing without the first 2 starting quarterbacks. Graham Mertz went down a few weeks ago. Lagway went out of the Georgia-Florida game. So, Florida's playing without their top 2 quarterbacks. They're playing with this kid named Aiden Warner, who transferred from Yale, from the school Yale, prestigious academic school Yale, and he's transferred to Florida, wanted to play football in the home state, in the state of Florida, where I believe he played high school ball. So he's playing, but he's not played a lot of college-level football, but he's just a freshman also. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. The BigJReport.com college football scoreboard. You can always find us at BigJReport.com. We're brought to you by Lake Eufaula Hits, the MadMaxMix.Weebly.com, Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial real estate. Remember, Saucer Realty and Capital. And on Wednesday nights, it's the MadMaxMix.Weebly.com. Max plays your request, whether it's music pop classics or it's he does classic rock requests too on Wednesday nights at the MadMaxMix.Weebly.com. JC does live from the pub on Thursday nights at Lake Eufaula Hits, LakeEufaulaHits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. Those are the sponsors, Saucer Realty and Capital, the MadMaxMix.Weebly.com, and Lake Eufaula Hits, where JC does his show live from the pub on Thursday nights, about 6 o'clock in the evening Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Chris did send me a message. Hey, Scott, without the starting quarterback. Well, that's true. In fact, what's interesting is Graham Mertz was the starter when the season started. Then the 2 started alternating, and it worked out really good. But now both of the top 2 quarterbacks from Florida are hurt. And really the quarterback, all he can do now is hand it off to Baugh. Baugh just ran the ball for a yard. Billy, it's going to be 4th down now, I believe. So and Florida tried to line up some blocking on the right side. It didn't work out. Texas had a big defensive lineman, number 95, jumped in there and made the tackle. And Florida's trailing. Florida's going to go ahead and try to get some points with a field goal here. It looks like about a 25-yard field goal, kind of close in. I believe it's 25 yards. Yeah, it is. It's going to be held at the 15-yard line. Let's see if they get a better snap than they did in the Florida-Georgia game in the third quarter. They had a high snap, a bad snap in the Florida-Georgia game. Florida just got hit with a legal procedure penalty, so it's going to back up the 25-yard field goal for about 30 yards. Second quarter, 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second quarter. Texas 14, Florida Gators nothing. And the field goal kicker from Florida, I see Aiden has gone to the sidelines. The third-string quarterback who's playing today, Aiden Warner, goes to the sidelines, and now Florida's going to attempt a 30-yard field goal. It is up, and I think he missed it. I think he missed it wide to the right. Smack the third. The Florida Gator kicker missed the 30-yard field goal. That hurts because you wanted to come away with at least some points there. Jacksonville Jaguars play the Minnesota Vikings. Games here in Jacksonville. Jaguars are 2-7. It's not pretty. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's hurt his left shoulder. I don't know when he hurt his left shoulder. I would be interested in asking that question to Trevor, the training staff. Maybe somebody's heard of when he hurt the left shoulder. A lot of people would think or assume that he hurt it in the last game. Maybe it's been a cumulative effect where it's been bothering him for a while, and now he just can't hardly play with it. So it looks like Jacksonville native Mac Jones, who went to Bowles High School here in Jacksonville, played college ball at Alabama under Nick Saban. Looks like Mac Jones is going to get his first start with his hometown team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, as Jaguars host the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday afternoon. Texas has got the ball back. Texas leads 14-0. They throw a little short pass out to the down the line and get 2 or 3 yards. A lot of good football games today. Army is undefeated. They played North Texas. Can they go through their whole season undefeated and beat Navy at the end? And if they do that, does Army, like, Army is big time football for many, many years. They're probably considered a mid-major now, of course. But can Army make the playoffs if they go undefeated? Can they make the playoff? Probably not, but it's a good story. If they go undefeated, I think if they're considered Division I and they go undefeated, I think they should be in the playoff. Why would you want to bring a 4th team or a 5th team from a conference in when you can put an undefeated team in there that's had such a great season? And that's kind of where I differ with some people. I think when every Division I team starts their college football season, the coach is talking to them. And if they have that dream season where they win every game and they're Division I, they should be in the playoff. And there's 12 teams in the playoff now. So I don't see any reason. I really don't see any reason why an undefeated Army team could not at least get the 11th or 12th playoff spot. Watching the Florida game, Navy's beating South Florida. Navy 14, South Florida nothing in the second quarter. Here at the BigJReport.com college football scoreboard. Texas is going to try to throw a long pass with Ewers. He's got a man wide open, but I think he dropped the ball down around the Florida 20-yard line. It's going to pass. It's going to go incomplete. Whoa, he's carrying the ball back with him. Let's take a look at that. Man, it was right at his hands and went through the wicket. And he tried to bobble it, tried to pick it back, couldn't do it. It hit the ground, incomplete. That was a long pass play. The wide receiver beat the defender, and the pass was thrown perfectly down around the Gator 18-yard line. Texas is leading this one. Texas Longhorns 14, Florida Gators nothing. Please subscribe to our channel if you get an opportunity. Texas just going to run the next play on kind of a pitch and sweep play to the left for a couple of yards. And now let's see what happens. Texas comes into this game 7-1. Florida is 4-4. Florida missed a field goal. They couldn't execute a field goal in the Florida-Georgia game either. Special teams, the field goal team has been hurting the Gators since the Georgia-Florida game last week. Let's see, Texas They've got 3rd down and 5, and the quarterback Ewers throws it up in the air. Oh, and he just about had that same guy as before. That was that number 0 running down the line. Looked like he got some space, but the pass was overthrown, and looks like we'll have to punt with about 7 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the second quarter. Oh, that was number 0, I believe. The intended receiver just passed, and beyond his outstretched arms, pass was too far. So thank you for being here. Subscribe to our channel. College football, Kennesaw State plays UTEP. Now, you're talking about some mid-major football. That's mid-major football, UTEP and Kennesaw State. Texas going to punt. Man, the Gator defense stops them. Man, we got a punt return coming up. Looks like a fair catch around the Gator 18-yard line. And here we are. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 61. Here we are at World Headquarters. Yeah, I got another message from Chris, brother Chris James. He's got his name Chris in parentheses. I call him Chris. Good guy. Yeah, Chris, you're exactly right. Without the starting quarterback, it's going to be tough for our Florida Gators to win. And not only is the starting quarterback out, the top 2 quarterbacks are out, Chris. This is a 3rd-string guy. This is Aiden Warner that's playing the transfer from Yale, who came in, before the season started. There was another kid I think Florida had come in. I was thinking it was from New Mexico or somewhere, but maybe he's no longer on the Florida roster. I'm kind of curious at who the backup is now. Maybe Lagway's considered the backup because there was some talk he might give it a go today, but he couldn't do it. So Lagway is still out. The injury for Graham Mertz is a kind of a bad season-ending injury. So Lagway and Mertz they had a good thing going, man. They were actually of a good mindset where they liked both playing and they were good teammates, but they're both hurt now. Hopefully Lagway's, the Lagway injury, I started hearing a couple of days ago, maybe it's not as bad as they originally thought. Maybe he can go soon, but he's not going today. Aiden Warner getting some more experience and Florida trailing. We do got the big coffee mug in the background, bigjreport.com. I appreciate Chris's messages. Chris is one of our subscribers, I know. And if you can subscribe to us when you come in, man, we'd be grateful. You may be watching this live on our live stream. Once the live stream ends, it'll still be up there for you to watch, consume, and comment on. What's going on with the Jaguars? They're 2-7. Balky, the GM, he needs to be fired. He's doing a fire set. What's up next? I mean, are they going to – my goodness, are they going to trade Trevor Lawrence? Is that why he's not playing? I know his shoulder probably hurts him. But if it was last year, I bet you he'd be out there playing. But now the Jags are 2-7. This injury concerns me. Trevor's got a big contract. If they ever traded Trevor Lawrence, obviously the new team would be on the hook for the major contract. And maybe not everybody would be into that. Trevor probably needs a week off to rest. Let's see what Mac Jones can do. I was watching the game last week, like I do most every week. And the Jaguars are getting beat 22-0 at halftime. I'm looking at the sidelines, and I'm seeing the way Mac Jones puts on his helmet and straps on his helmet. I was thinking that maybe he might go in last week. The Jaguars only got 1 first down last week. The Eagles got 10 first downs in the first half, and they led 22-0. Jaguars get beat by the Eagles, had a chance at the end, but lost 28-23. Quarterback Aiden Warner just threw kind of a duck out there, incomplete. He's the 3rd-string quarterback for Florida and just not getting it done with the big plays. Florida's already missed a field goal. Florida's got a 2nd down and 10 coming up. The quarterback, the transfer out of Yale, this Aiden Warner, he's a kind of a tall, skinny kid. Not a real big kid. I don't think he's going to be running too many plays up the middle like maybe Lagway would. Lagway's a lot bigger than this kid. So, but Florida's got second down and 10. They're going to try a running play. Looks like Baugh got a yard or two, and that's it. Because I think what's happening now, Texas is expecting the run from Florida, so they're playing the run. They're absolutely playing the run. Warner looks to the sidelines to get the play in. I believe Coach Billy Napier calls all the plays. That may change next year because they're bringing Coach Billy Napier back. It's official now. They're going to bring Coach Billy Napier back. He's not on the hot seat until maybe next year. Texas with a 14-0 lead. Florida's missed a field goal here in the second quarter. And Aiden Warner is going to try to throw a little pass down the line of scrimmage. It is complete. The wide receiver has it, but he's pushed out of bounds almost immediately. And there's little fisticuffs on the sidelines. People, that kid named Hawkins, was that kid named Hawkins? That was a receiver for Florida, it looked like that time. But nothing. He got nothing. The pass went down the line of scrimmage. It was well defended. He got pushed out of bounds almost immediately. And now Florida's got a punt again. Florida has no offense. The closest thing to scoring was a missed field goal, about a 30-yard field goal that was missed by the Florida Gator field goal kicker. Florida's going to punt now, trailing 14-0. Punter gets the ball up in the air. It looks like Texas is going to field it on their own 36-yard line. Here comes a return man. He goes one way, now another. And he's going to be knocked out of bounds around the 49-yard line of Texas. Texas well in control. 6 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the second quarter. It's a Texas Longhorns 14. The Florida Gators, nothing. Alabama in concert, the legendary country Western group, Alabama in concert tonight in St. Augustine, Florida, at the Amphitheater. Saturday night, November the 9th of 2024 at 7:30 p.m. at the St. Augustine, Florida Amphitheater. Iceman hockey, the season is back open. The Icemen have already played a few games. But I did see today they've got a big game coming up at home. The Orlando Solar Bears play at the Jacksonville Icemen coming up this coming Thursday, November the 14th of 2024. Looks like this is an early matinee, like where the kids can get out of school and go. 10:30 in the morning this Thursday morning, November the 14th, at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. I appreciate Chris James making those comments to us. It looked like, oh no. I turned my head for a minute, and now Texas has scored again on about a 50-yard play. 50 or 51-yard play. Texas has just scored again. It is now 20-0. And maybe the route is on now. Wow. Texas is tough. They're tough at home, and they might be playing their best game of the year because they've had some stinkers. They had a game where they only beat Vanderbilt by like 3 points. Texas lost to Georgia. Extra point by Texas is up and good at Campbell Williams Field. Campbell Williams Field. So you know who that is. That's Campbell that played running back at Texas years and years ago. He played at Texas, and he played for the Houston Oilers, played for the Saints a little bit. Earl Campbell. You remember Earl Campbell? Man, he could run over people. He could run the football. Played for the Saints and the Houston Oilers in the NFL. I remember him when I was a young kid, 6, 7 years old. He played for the Texas Longhorns back in the 70s. Texas made the extra point. Texas now is up 21-0. We'll end this live stream. And, hey, we're going to be back here a little later today with more of the live stream. Right now it's not good. Texas 21, Florida Gators nothing. Georgia Tech playing Miami. Miami of Florida Hurricanes 10, Georgia Tech 7 early in the second quarter. We'll end the live stream thanks to our producers, our executive producer, JC, another producer, Alex Nunnery. I want to thank John Gaylor, who was a correspondent and contributor to our podcast, to BigJReport.com, and to our Facebook group as well. And Chris is a great guy. Chris James, thank you for coming in. Thank you. Chris has also subscribed to the podcast and made some comments. So come and make comments. Now, remember, when we go away from this live stream, it's still up there available for whoever maybe has not seen it. So thank you for tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 61. We will absolutely be back with more of a live stream coming up a little later right here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and we'll be back. Enjoy the games. Right now, if you're a Florida fan, it's not too good. Texas 21, Florida Gators nothing in the second quarter.